Hey, you there. Thank you for watching and welcome to Forge Lands Forever. Today I have a 6v6 custom match here on the most amazing Neuroxis map generator. Let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players. Starting off with Team 1 here on the western side of things, ending with Team 2 on the eastern side of things. And I will slow it down just a smidgen so that way we can not miss any of that juicy early action. Starting off in the northern section for Team 1, we have the player of XBOCT. He's going first land as a Cybran. He is an orange to color orange, and he is the highest rated player in the game and on Team 1 as an 1800. To his south in Parby Pink, we have the player of Zelby Lee Cobb. I think it's how you say that. Call him Zelby for short. Going first land as a UEF, and he is a 1600, the second highest rated player here for Team 1. We have the Chevy Crimson player of Game Ender here in the middle for Team 1. He is going first land, and he is a 1200. Again, he is Aeon in Chevy Crimson. Continuing on, we have in Tropical Ocean Blue the player of Wuka going first land as a Cybran, and he is a 1500. And to the east in Light Oak Tan is the player of Pepe's. He has chosen the Aeon faction for this game, going first land. And the colors always look very interesting with the Aeon stylized, the finish that they have on the structures. You look at the anyway, it looks different. Maybe that's just me. He's getting a first land, second air most likely, and again he is a 1200. And last but not least for Team 1 here in the southwest corner of the map, we have in glow in the dark green, which is kind of hard to tell because it looks very similar to Pac-Man yellow, just probably again due to the coloring, how it works with the Cybran faction. He is Alchemico going first land, second air most likely. And again, he is a 1100, and he is in glow in the dark green. So for Team 1 side of things, for their chosen faction lineup here, we have 2 Cybrans, 2 Aeon, 1 UEF, and 1 Seraphim. All of those races, sub-factions, nomenclature you want to call them, are represented here for Team 1. Starting off in the southern section of the map for Team 2, we have the Rust player of Kabanoff going first land, second land, maybe third air. Maybe. We'll see. He is a 1700 rated player, and again, he is in Rust as an Aeon. To his north, already on the move here to the west, going first land, second air, third land, fourth land, all the lands all day, most likely. We have Touch My Omen on a red map. Going to be very hard to see him. Apologies for, it's going to make it a little bit difficult as a lot of units pop on the map. He is going as an Aeon, as a 1600 in ruby red. And the other gem color here in this game, it is the emerald green player of Grumpy, going first land, second air as a Cybran. And he is an 1100. Hopefully that is a lot better to see on a red background versus the red. And to the northeast, we have the Snow White player of Fong going first land as a Seraphim. The game pausing and unpausing, which we don't have to wait around for, going most likely second air, at least with that configuration of P-Gens. He's a 1600 rated player going Cybran. And in Stitch Blue to the west, we have Babel running around the map already, going first land, second air, maybe third land somewhere out there in the wild over there. But again, he is a 1400 going Aeon. And last but not least here, on the move here with Babel, we have the Pac-Man yellow player of Themo29 going, what's he going? First land, second air? First land, second air, but the air is not next to the hydrocarbon, which is kind of different, but we'll see what he ends up doing with that configuration. He is a 1000 rated player. And again, he is going UEF in Pac-Man yellow. So for Team 2 side of things, for their racial lineup, makeup, whatever word you want to use for it, we have 1 UEF, 1 Cybran, 3 Aeon, and 1 Seraphim. I think this has been a while where we've had both teams have all of the factions at their disposal. I think it's been a long time. Not a long time, but it's been a minute. Let's take a look at the reclaim currently still on the map before our players scoop it all up. We have currently 14,000 and a little bit. So let's probably say about 15 and a half, round it up to 15 just to do the math easier. With 12 players, it doesn't make the math easier. It does a little bit. Like maybe a little, it's like a little over 1,000. That's really not a lot of reclaim for players to scoop up. They're going to focus a lot more on mexes and, of course, expansions into the mass fab and the RASCOMs. We do have, before we talk about mass point layout, we have a couple of flares running against the hunters here in the north against Expo. They are coming in from Babel. There is a bomber over the top. I think we can speed this up back to normal speed, but of course those bombers aren't very strong, and that AA gun is almost going to be able to kill it off with 13 hit points. My man, my favorite number in the game, 13 hit points left on that unit. Will he get some nice value out of it? Well, I mean, he needs 2 to be able to kill that bomber off, but we will have to see. And in terms of mass point layout, I think he will get it with the next bomb. I think he's going to get killed off for it, but he does get that mass extractor. So good on that bomber for taking it with him to the grave. In terms of like non-base related mexes, really the only things that are really up for grabs are these ones up here on these upper plateaus or lower. They're upper plateaus. Yeah, they're upper plateaus. They kind of look like lower, but anyway, they're up here. But kind of hard to say because essentially the game's going to be divided along this chasm here in the middle of the map. So Team 1 and Team 2 are essentially going to be not exactly a straight vertical line, but more of kind of a curved, kind of like S. Was it more like a backwards S? Kind of like a backwards S. And like a Z almost. Kind of, sort of. So realistically, the only mexes that maybe would be fought over are these two in the middle. At least for now, I don't see any like large groups of mexes that are really worth going after in terms of devoting a lot of resources to. So I think a lot more comms are going to focus on trying to at least nip away at the outlying mexes that the players already have grabbed their hands on. And at 5 minutes, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mexes still up for grabs, at least to plant their flag on, essentially. Radar facilities coming online here for both teams. T2 on the way here for Zelby. Of course, he is UEF. That would make sense. Aeon going for speed. Will go for range most likely after that. I think thought I saw another upgrade. Oh, yeah, it's down here. Alchemical going for speed and range on that Seraphim commander. He does have some units coming in from the south. He needs to plug this hole. At least have one of these two comms either from Wuka or Pepe's come in south and intercept them as well. Kind of similar things happening here to the north, except it does look like Team... I don't know if Team 1 or Team 2 has the better handle of things. It's kind of even. Just kind of hanging out up there. Gun speed and range is going down here for Expo to the north. Wants to make sure he can fend off any incoming threats. It is sort of a 3v2 scenario so far. Here for Team 1, it may look like the comm of Game Ender is on his way to assist. So we'll have to see how that ends up going. He's going to go around. Maybe he'll go down here most likely, but we'll have to check that out as time goes on. But those units coming in here from the play of Kabanoff, getting into the rear, going after those southern mexes here. Going to take out a few of them. We'll take out some E-storages up here. That's going to suck for overcharge capabilities. You need to watch out for that. They're very volatile. There it goes. Kind of limiting the ability for Pepe's to fire off more of those overcharges. Lots of upgrades going down. Already advanced range 80% assisting by Grumpy. That is huge at 7 minutes here for Touch My Omen. That is very, very quick, I might add. I don't see a lot of comms going that hard into, at least at the advanced range side of things, until maybe 20, I'd say 15, 20 minutes, but 17, he's going to get a lot of mileage out of that comm as long as he does not get surrounded. Kabanoff going for T2. Wanted to establish some sort of forward operating base here. Has eliminated some ego here for his opponent, so he's able to kind of sit back and relax, just if not for a moment. The comm of Fong just kind of hanging out up here, not really worrying about a whole lot. Of course, he is a air player for the most part, just due to the fact that he already has T2 and is going for T3. His mirror to the west, let's see, that would be this player here. Hasn't even gone T2 air, Wuka. We don't even see T2 yet on the cards here for air. Yeah, no one's even gone for T2 air. That is not looking good here for Team 1. They need some way to fight back against that T2, soon to be T3 facility. T2 on the cards here for Fong. Almost done here for Zelby in the middle. Would probably like to establish just a line of PD kind of along this, northern approach where he's sitting at. But comms soon to engage here. Expo moving forward with his commander, as assisted by units incoming from his teammate of Zelby to the north. And Zelby's really split his forces up a lot. We do see Game Ender coming in to assist as well, but I think this is going to be the first comm on comm action. If not, what's going down south? Looks like comm, B, comm, plasma being thrown at one another in the north. Same thing going down in the south. At least I saw it for a second. Does look like Kamenov is building some nice PD, kind of PD creeping just a little bit. Plasma does go off and kill a couple of engineers. Of course, Team 1 has to watch out for that Aeon Sniper Commander of Touch My Omen. But Team 1 is pushing back here in the north, trying to get some nice land grabbing here. Even if there's only a mechs or two, it's better than nothing. Does look like Team 2 is going to start to retreat. Themo has been wounded ever so slightly in the yellow. Babel going for a speed upgrade. Of course, he is Aeon. They'll want to go for at least the range upgrade, if not the advanced range. Gun for Pepe's does cancel. Don't know what that's about. He's on Team 1. Where is he? Down here? Maybe he's moving back a little bit. He hasn't gone for advanced range, but Chrono Dampener here would touch my Omen. Very interesting play, wanting to nullify some units, get some free damage on them. Very interesting play. I haven't seen that one in a while. We'll check back down south how that ends up going for him. But Babel speedily upgrading for his range. He probably should just stick with just the first upgrade and not go for the second. He'll be rooted to the spot for a minute if he does that. Expo going to come in and intercept him. Lots of Aurora trying to use their range to the advantage. PD trying to be spammed up, but a lot of those engineers are taken out in that engagement. Of course, it is Mantis and Strikers versus Aurora. Aurora have the better range, but are weaker. There are a couple of Strikers here for Team 2, but again, they supplement more than the main force that is, of course, Babels. We do have the T2 comm of Fong coming in to assist. He's Seraphim. Probably built some Uthashalas bombers over the top, trying to just whittle those hit points down for Expo. Not really going to happen here for Team 2. It's kind of an interesting play. He does have a group of units to the north of Aurora's. They're going around trying to at least maybe catch Expo out of position. Bombers still constantly landing here for Team 1. Does look like a nice interceptor force here for Team 2. Does allow those bombers to last a lot longer than they normally would be able to. And it does look like they are spotted to the north, so they'll have to retreat at least a little bit here for now. Things have simmered down in the north and in the south. Movement here from the players of Touch My Omen and Grumpy. Grumpy pushing forward with his commander solely. That's it. That's all he has. He has some interceptors, but that is it. We have Kamenov, and this is Sparta for this Oblivion turret. No, sorry, PD, not turrets. I keep saying turrets once in a while. I keep slipping in. I mean, they are, but they're point defense. They say they're point defense, they're point defense. And, of course, there are Aurora here, so they have the range on them as well. I'm very surprised to see the comm of Touch My Open very far back, but, of course, he was going for that Chrono Dampener upgrade. And he's going to start moving westward. There he's going to end up right behind those Oblivions. Of course, use that nice calm range. You can see that is the range of his gun. That is the the thick red line. That is a lot of range on that thing. So players on Team 1 need to watch out for them. Units could be just, essentially EMP'd for a little bit and nullified. Need to watch out for that comm. T3 should have already been completed. Yep, it is done here for Fong. Most likely at 11 minutes. I feel like already finished with T3. Pigeon most likely was at or close to 11 minutes. T2 finished here for Grumpy. And I don't see any air facilities left here for Team 2. Team 1. Oh, wow, really went for T3. Wow, that was very surprising. I thought Wuka would be a little bit further behind than that. T2 on the cards here, and almost about a third of the way there here for Game Ender's T3 facility as well in the air. Regards, we do have Pepe's pushing forward with his gun speed and range, not the advanced range. Kamenov retreating, but Touch My Omen is coming in to intercept. We can take a look at the differences between Pepe's and Touch My Omen's.
Commander under attack.
So his pretty much sits at vision. You can see the essentially the vision range is what the attack range is for the first range upgrade, but for Nope, that's wrong. Red player. The other one sits outside of his range. You can see the range sits right here, and the advanced range sits there, and you can see the chrono dampener goes off, nullifies any enemy units in the area. It doesn't nullify comms though. That comms kind of have a debuff, not a debuff, but a buff against that. They're saying they are not applicable, and that pulse generates a wide range, and I like the fact that you can see it now. I think in the past it used to just be just a pulse that you would see from the comm, but it doesn't radiate out like that, and you can see it as it pulsates out. You can see units that are caught in the blast will be EMP'd for a little bit, and I think elevation has something to do with it. You can see how he's fighting literally an uphill battle, and the chrono only goes in a horizontal direction, not necessarily a vertical direction, in terms of course, height-wise, not necessarily length and width as in a 2D dimensional space, but in a 3D dimensional space. We have fire basing going on here to the north by the Cybran player of Expo, and of course the UEF player of Zelby. That's very common for UEF players. It's just kind of what they're known for. So depending on your position, if you don't turtle as a UEF, I don't know what you're doing. You should be doing that. But in this case, obviously a great example of just being in the middle, being annoying, launching missiles, trying to just again be annoying. Volcano distracting that missile launcher. Great placement by Babel, trying to prevent any damage to allied or owned structures. Advanced range going down for game ender, but still the chrono is an interesting choice. What I'm a little bit worried about, at least for Team 2's sake, is the fact that we have 3 comms, half of their player base, in one position essentially. If a nuke comes in, 2 of those comms are dead. Just straight up DED. There's no hope of getting away, unless they move immediately. No, so if Team 1 rushes a nuke and gets it off, that's a huge disadvantage for Team 2. If the nuke does land, I don't see any rushing for that specifically. Maybe we have Wuka maybe going for that with just strictly staying with one air facility, but we'll have to see. It is still a very forward play. It's very aggressive. Team 1 only has 2 players on that front line, and they're essentially in the main base here for Pepe, so he really is going to fight to hold that position for a long period of time. Looks like Team 2 has relatively ignored the southern section and kind of focusing more on the northern or southern midsection. We do see some fighting going on in this ravine here between both teams. It's again T1 units versus T1 units. A lot of artillery. These Medusa, these Aurora need to keep moving or they're going to be shot down very quickly, but unfortunately the Aurora are already weak and the Mantis are in range, so they're going to die here very quickly here on the middle section of the map. Nano Repair on the way for Expo. He isn't missing any hit points, but that does allow him to stay more active on the front line. We have Game Ender going for shield, so instead of Chrono going for shield, that's usually the typical play. We see more hit points on the commander, means more survivability, which means you're not going to die to Strat Bombers as easily as other players would. So, you don't have to go for shield early on, but at 16 minutes, you should be thinking T3 is on the cards. A couple of Strat Bombers may have been built by a player or two, so you just got to be aware of that. But at least in terms of Air Forces, those look like it's more couple of T2 Volthus and ASFs, and that's really about it. I don't see any efforts to go for any Strat Bomb rushes, but T3 land is on the cards here for the player of Touch My Omen at 16.5 minutes. No one has died, knock on wood, for any players that are going to die here at, in 2 seconds after I say something. It does look like there is a nice force to the north that might start to say no. Game Ender or Expo is going to be just a statistic in this game and die before 20 minutes. But it does look like with the combined forces of these two commanders with PD support soon on the cards, it does look like it is starting to look like Team 1 will be able to at least hold off, if not start to push back Team 2. We can see that just the volcanoes left standing. There's not really a lot of defenses. There are some more volcanoes being established to help deter all these missiles coming in. Missiles trying to take out some extra facilities for either reclaim purposes or just T1 spam. ASFs for both teams being built up quite nicely. I think Team 1, I think it's about tied between both our teams. I'm just kind of surprised not to see more players go for air. In a 6v6 in a game like this, you would think at least 2 players would go for air, which is kind of what's happening with, I mean, that is what's happening with Grumpy and, let's see, was that Game Ender? But they're mainly focused on, you know, interceptors and maybe a gunship. More, I think they're more focused on as being as the backup rather than being as a secondary or kind of a support role and producing a bunch of ASFs and then handing them off to the main air player. But with the push of 2 commanders and a bunch of missiles, it does look like Team 2's northern wall is starting to fall. TMD are being focused. Volcanoes trying to do what they can to deter as many missiles, but one does get through once in a while, which means they are not perfect, of course. Bombers over the top takes out a decent chunk of hit points for those missiles, but I don't know that that Team D again can only last so long. We have the comm of Nemo with no upgrades, no veterancy, just himself. Does have a Percy as an escort, and Babel is behind him. He is under shield coverage for now, but that shield is going to fall just due to the oppressive firepower from the comms and the missiles inbound. Percy's again can one-shot a lot of T2. Well, yeah, a lot of T1, a lot of T2 units, but of course with the disadvantage of the Percy being they fire once, they reload for about 5-10 seconds, and they fire again. And so they really can't work against spam. They really only work for high-value targets like T3 units or T4 units or comms or whatever that sort of thing. You can see Game Render does not care, wanting to go after that Percy. Almost kills it off at 379 hit points left standing. Game Render has suffered a decent blow. It doesn't have his shield anymore. He only has those hit points, and he gets a veterancy. That's going to help him a little bit. We have another Percy dropping on the front lines here for Team 2. They want to hold this position as best they can, but I don't think it's going to go their way. Bomber is going to go after the units, not the comms. Want to take out the missiles, which is the better play, but they don't get a lot of bombs off, and that is going to be a fallback retreat here for Team 2. There are 3 comms here for Team 2. They have firepower here. They're just not really using it, and it doesn't look so well. I'm taking a look at the south here. Not really a whole lot going on, just more base wars, sniper bots, kind of just hanging out here for Team 1, excuse me. We had some plasma being thrown between our players by Babel and Expo, but it doesn't really look like anything really came of that. The Percy is severely wounded, below 50% of its HP. The comm of Expo really wants to shoot Babel, but that shield, that Asylum, really protecting Babel here in this scenario at 3,500 HP additional because of its shield. But more Percys walking in tow one by one from that main facility in the rear for Themo. A lot of hit points, a lot of damage. These comms have to watch out because if a group of these build up, it could be the death for either one of them. And is Game Ender having issues with his see, that would explain why he's not regenerating his shield, because he has no power. That would explain a lot of things. We do see to the north section more Percys coming in all the time, of course. And I feel like with Themo, he should hold off just a little bit. I do understand the inclination to push, which is why I love the comms being used as essentially the front line while the Percys come in and start building up. And we are seeing some T2 PD for reserves. I would like to see at least one artillery in this mix, which is, I think, no, that looks like it's a, that's an Oblivion. That's not a Miasma. But 3 comps now on the front line still are able to push back Team 1. But of course, the risky play is the further you push inward, the longer it takes to, retreat. Does look like Zelby didn't decide to engage. Is going to retreat to his main base. Has decided that it's not really worth fighting and focus on other endeavors. Team 2 has conquered the middle of the map and they start to pushing southward, but honestly, they're not going to be able to do a whole lot because Team 2 already owns this section, so it really doesn't matter. And it does look like the forces from Team 2, at least the comms at least, have retreated and decided to go back to their bases or just their friendly bases, because, why sit at your own base when you can sit at somebody else's? Does look like air grids being pumped out here by Team 2's player of Fong. We are at 21 minutes and 50 seconds. No one has died. Let me know down in the comments. And who do you think is going to currently win? Team 1 and Team 2 are essentially tied for eco in terms of per second and in total mass accrued. Team 2 is in the lead by about 9,000, 10,000 mass. So really not a whole lot to write home about, but it, every little bit does help. Again, let me know who you think is going to currently win. Drop a like, and of course hit that sub button if you haven't done so already. Bong is continuously deciding to keep pushing and pushing. He does get shot at by Oblivions and goes, I've done some work. I've regained territory for Team 2. I should probably retreat. And again, just to point out, they're not really fighting over mexes. They're fighting over territory. Which, like, well, aren't mexes part of territory? Yes. However, if there's no mexes there, you're literally just fighting over percentage of map control. That's really it. And in FAF, there isn't that much of a not buff, that's not the word I wanted, but emphasis to go for higher ground positions. Like in Bar, you really get an advantage if you have the the high ground. You're pulling an Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of thing. In this game, it's not as important. It does mess with some of the light of sign units or shots and that kind of thing, but realistically, it doesn't mean a whole lot. As long as you hit your target, that's it. There's no buff or debuff for being, over or under your thing you're shooting at. So, essentially you're fighting over territory, which is it even worth it? I don't know. Maybe, taking out defenses is nice, but then it forces the other team to build defenses closer to their main bases or in their main bases, which makes it harder to siege those bases. So it kind of you're essentially just moving the goalpost. You're not really doing considerable damage unless you start taking out, assassinating ecos. But we have an experimental. It is a Colossus for Team 2's player of Kabanoff, and that is a huge, huge asset. Mass Fab farms starting to appear. They are the T2 variety. And they're just in clumps of 4x4s, so not getting, any P-Gen advantages, that sort of thing. Not going for the T3 variety, which they're less volatile. Their explosions are a lot smaller. And they cost less, but they don't produce as much mass. So that's the downside. Of course, we see some Serenities here for Team 2's player Babel. Those T3 mobile artillery are going to probably start seizing this position. There are no, T2 Clink Hammers in this build, which is kind of weird. You would think that there'd be one or two of those, but there is not, and that's a disadvantage to this firebase. Team 1 probably should be thinking about building T2 already. More Oblivions is good, but you need longer ranged weaponry. And missiles are nice, but you have to rely on units not moving, and when they're mobile, literally in the name of the unit, you kind of have to think, well, missiles don't really move with the target, so you might need artillery. But we have some drops going down here, a couple of bricks coming in to assist that front line. It does look like they're more focused on supporting the northern section, where both the players of Game Ender and Expo CT have decided to group up. I would like to see these comms players use UEF shields versus Cybran and Aeon, because, well, they're Aeon, UEF are just better. Just flat out, they just are better. Seraphim are the best, but they don't have Seraphim on the northern side, so, maybe it would be worth it to send the Cybran engineer over there. Sorry, not Cybran, Seraphim the engineer up there, but UEF will do just fine, I feel like. Both air buildups here for Team 1 and Team 2. Does like Team 2 getting the better end of the deal with more units on the field. And that Colossus is pushing with essentially no support. Units are going to be pulled away from their positions and move southward. More shields are being built up to protect mexes, but at this point you need to take out that Colossus and you need DPS. Whalers on the way is a good start. I'm assuming Team 2 is going to come and intercept those at some point. No response as of yet, but I wouldn't be surprised as once you see the Whalers come in, if Team 2 doesn't say, probably should take those out. We have Ilshis, we have Othans, we have Whalers, we have Yenzine, surprisingly. We have Harbs. Harbs taking out the supporting Harbs to the north. The Colossus deciding literally just to walk over his competition, walk over the units that he's being shot at by. Those Whalers doing a nice job. Both of the ASF groups here for Team 1 hovering around there. It does look like Team 2 might start to engage that. But unfortunately here for Team 2, that Colossus is already below 50% of its HP. And it's going to be dropping all the time. Hot dropping some Percys in to come and assist. They don't even shoot. They don't shoot at the Colossus. They shoot at the Harbingers. One of them gets scooped up. The other one gets shot down. And that Colossus gets another rank in veterancy. Would have liked to see those Percys shoot the Colossus, but that thing is almost gone below, almost 10,000 hit points. There it goes, and it's not going to make it very much farther. Team 2 had an opportunity to really do something with that Colossus, and they lost it. Team 1 did a very good job covering air. They essentially blocked out Team 2's air, prevented it from coming anywhere near them, and making it not really worth it to attack anyways. That's just how the cookie crumbles so far. 27 minutes in the game. T2 on the way for Touch My Omen, revoking the advanced range and going for more engineering. Sweet technology. PD being spammed up to protect the SMD. Of course, both teams have access to telesnipe commanders, or the Telemazer commanders from the Cybran variety, so have to be very careful with the Nuke silos, whether they be the offensive or defensive varieties. I don't see any other movements for any sort of game enders or, nukes or any sort of thing. 27.5 minutes on the cards here so far. This game lasts a little bit under an hour, at least in terms of game time, but of course, sim speed is a different thing. You got to watch out for that, so it's probably going to be a little bit over an hour in total of the cast. You saw the timestamp or the time duration, whatever the heck it's called, so you know. Chicken to the east here, being built by the air player, very typical here. Rascom's being gated in here by Themo. He's going for Ras as we speak to boost his eco up. He'll get a nice boost in that. In terms of ecos overall, Team 2 starting to pull ahead. We saw more Rascoms already on the field here for Touch My Omen. Being able to pump out more and more eco is important here, especially when you run out of resourcing options on the normal, not the normal, but the natural side of things would be the word that I would use, because you can just build mass with mass fabs, but it does take a while to really scale with 1 mass a second. So that's why you really want that adjacency bonus to help assist with either the mass storage or the energy to reduce the cost of each, because each one's 100 and it does take a toll on your eco. That 1 or 2 is not a big deal, but 200 is a big deal, of course. Another Galactic Colossus with artillery support being built up. He needs miasma. We have 1 so far for Team 2. I wouldn't be surprised to see another one, but we have 2 experimentals, a Colossus and a chicken, and that will always favor Team 2's only 1 Colossus variety, especially if Team 1's are both at 4 health. But a Fat Boy on the front line, see, there's where that artillery would have come nice and handy. Dealing with this, the comms have retreated already. It's essentially just a war, sitting in a little giant mech suit with a little screen, pushing a button and having drones fire missiles, that sort of thing. Gunships roaming the edges of the map of Team 1 side of things. ASFs protecting them. Nice grab by Team 2, ensuring that their gunships are protected. Similar thing, except the ASFs and gunships are controlled by the same player, instead of them being controlled by 2 different players. And I love that for Team 1, because it allows them to say, I'm moving my gunships in. I don't have to tell somebody to move their ASFs in. I can just do that myself and not have to worry about it. We do see another experimental here from Team 2. It's 1 chicken and 1 Fat Boy versus nothing. Team 1 has nothing except the monkey, but that's behind its main front line. We have some artillery being built up back here, but they could have maybe saved that base, but it's obviously a little too late for that. 30 minutes so far, no one has died. They have beat the statistics, or normal ones, at least for now. I would like to see maybe 40 minutes no one dies, but me saying that, someone's going to die at like 39 minutes and 30 seconds or some weird thing like that. Sensor package on the way here for the comm of Touch My Omen. And I love the sensor package for the Aeon, because boom, there is... even in a 17 or 16 by 16 map, that is still a chunk of vision to just have. There's no, you just get it. It's like having a smaller soothsayer on your back is essentially what that is. But a chicken fighting a monkey with whaler support, and they're going to skip the chicken and go straight for the monkey. ASFs for Team 2 going to engage those gunships, and Team 1 going to engage those ASFs as well. The Whalers are not backing off. They grab the Fat Boy. Great grab by Team 1. The ASFs do retreat. Team 2's ASFs from Grumpy come and try to assist, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. Another engage is going to happen, this time favoring Team 2, and it does force Team 1 to engage. The Whalers will come in and use their missiles on board those gunships. Not as good as the Restorers, of course, but something is better than nothing. Chicken still roaming the map. isn't really healthy that well, will die right now. Lots groups. Decent group of Percys here, leaving that wreckage of the chicken behind. Does look like Team 2 will gain air control. When I say dominance, it's close to dominance. It's like I'd say yes, but there is that gunship horde, which is not say horde, squadron. So wouldn't say dominance, but very, very close to dominance. They've lost a lot of things on the ground. And we have, of course, Percy's moving in, supported by Cougars, and they're whittling down those ASFs bit by bit. Sorry, I don't mean to be zoomed. I'm in and out constantly. Percy's launching their fire. This is a lot of wreckage here in the northern section of the map. How much, actually, to be fair? Well, currently on the total map, we have 128,000 reclaim. We started off at like 14, and now we're at 128,000. That is a lot of reclaim. Both teams almost reclaiming 200,000 between the two of them. Team 1 getting a little bit better of the end of the deal in that regard. And in terms of mass per second, now we're at 2.4 for Team 2. Team 1 at 2.1. We're starting to get into, not Volos, but YOLOs and Scathis levels of mass per second here. We're seeing a nice fire line here for Team 2. They just want to hold, but we have 4 chickens and 2 Colossi to assist with demolishing that wall that they have built. A nice group of Harbingers in the rear. They need to push up right now. Where is the artillery here? But there is not. It's just T2PD. And there come the chickens. 1 Colossus in retreat. A wall versus a bunch of chickens and Colossi. But they're turning around. I don't know what they're doing. They should just engage. There they go. Colossus engaging Colossus here to the south. The Colossus for Team 2 getting a nice engagement though. But is now turning its back to its enemy, and that's not what you want to be in. There it goes. Team 1 has eliminated the, second to only Colossus here. There's another one coming in. Chicken being focused down. I think that one's very weak. I can't see the numbers, of course, due to the camera angle and settings and whatnot. Second Colossus appears to the north. 1,000 flames. Wow, 100, 1,500 mass killed. 5-starred AA gun being taken out. First chicken is down for Team 1. The second Colossus is below 50% hit points. The Colossus for Team 1's player of Pepe's, Pepe's is moving on the southern section of that wall of PD, wanting to avoid it. There's the second chicken, third chicken, fourth chicken failed. They should have been pushing in a little bit more to deal with this PD. Now the Harbingers are going to come in and try to get in behind the Colossus. They need to go back to back to ensure their protection, but they're just going to keep pushing forward against this production facility and main base here for Team 2's play of Kabanoff. One will stop and turn around, but that one has been eliminated. This one's just going to charge in the main base. Some support. Where is the support for Team 1's Colossi? But there isn't any. This one is being built as we speak for Team 2, and it's going to focus that. That is not what you want to focus on. Those hit points are not going to last very long, unfortunately. There goes an engineer, going to be scooped up here, be crushed and drops, and that one does not get taken. But unfortunately here, that push is just amounted to a mass dump. Team 2 got a huge mass efficiency bonus. Not bonus, but rating, because they killed 1, 2 Colossus and 4 chickens for the price of 1, 2 Colossus, and they have 1 on its way, and a bunch of that PD is still online with an SMD in the rear to protect it. That's a great wall that's been created here by Kabanoff in the south. And to the north, same kind of similar story here that's been here for a while. It's, Team 1 moves in, kills some units. Team 2 pushes back. Team 1 pushes back. You see a Colossus that's died up here, a chicken that's died up here. So not really a whole lot going on, but the first nuke of the game is launched. It is from Team 2's player of Themo. And where is it going? It is going southward for maybe Pepe's base. Yeah, it looks like it is going for Pepe's base. He does have an SMD. It is loaded, so he will be perfectly fine. In that regard, there's even an SMD, but it's not even loaded, so that's not really a huge concern. It was going for Pepe's. That will not be landing there, sir. Definitely Definitely sucks to see nukes just be shot out of the sky like that. And there it goes. We have artillery being built here by the player of Alchemical in the rear. It's a little over 50% done in that regard. I don't see any movements to go for any, T4 artillery or any sort of thing. We do have an Apocalypse that's almost loaded here for the player of Game Ender. And we have crabs being built. And that's really about it. I don't see any more movement in terms of that regard. But Team 2 has now pushed even further westward. And they're starting to encroach on that main base. That is for Expo. We do have some Ravager fire down here that they're trying to avoid. Lots of Cerberus, of course. But, of course, it's Cerberus, so it's more of a tickle party. What's going on up there? We have a supporting Colossus coming in with Percy as well. Love to see that mixture of faction tech, allowing them to deal with a variety of situations. And there goes an SMD that will die here pretty soon if it is targeted. We have some bricks on the station, but that it's not really going to last very long. Team 1 is starting to lose a lot of territory in the north. They need to fight back, either devote more resources up here or try to take out Team 2's southern wall. One thing or the other here. Does look like the Whalers are on station for Team 1. Team 2's air has not responded as of yet, but they are inbound as we speak. ASS for Team 1 are going to engage, but Team 2 doesn't have air dominance, but the artillery is landing for Team 1, focusing the air grid from multiple locations. We have... I missed that artillery. Where is that artillery? Is it back here? No? Where's that artillery? Not there. I don't see... What? I saw multiple dots coming across. Oh, it's back here. It must have just been hit. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was hidden with the pigeons. We have one Duke online here for Zelby to the north. I saw another. Is that Hovatham online? The Hovatham is now online. I thought I saw a third one. I could be mistaken. No. Oh, no, there is a third one online here for... Well, I guess it was built by Muka, but the entire base to the northeast has been taken out by Team 1, and the comm of Team... Actually, no, the comm of Themo is fine. The nuke landed, and unfortunately, that kicks him out of the racing for really much of anything for now. He has a T3 air facility building a strat bomber, so that's interesting play there. Team 1 doesn't have a lot of air, and they are controlling a decent section of the north, but having that base completely wiped out drops Team's eco quite, not considerably, but does drop it a little bit. They are now leading by 500 mass a second, but of course Team 2 has to worry about artillery, and that artillery is now raining on top of Touch My Omen's base. He has a nice facility being online and working, but it's not going very well. We have a RASCOM producing facility up here for Kavanaugh away from his main base. That place is going down in smoke as well. Just artillery raining in all the time everywhere here for Team 2. They need some sort of response. They need some sort of, fighting back. Building bugs is an interesting idea, but you need to have air dominance for that. We've already cast a couple games where bugs are very useful, but AA and ASF can take them out quite easily, so something to watch out for. I do like the fact that we have the player of Wuka gifting over the artillery to Zelby. That way he can micro that a lot better and just say all artillery focus this target, then go this target, then go this target, versus having your own individual targets to go after. But I think there's a second one online. No, it's just firing pretty fast. Okay. This one is almost done, by the way. They're going to finish the crab first and then go back to the Disruptor. Love to see projects finished and then going from one project to another instead of trying to do multiple things at the same time. But we have walking Colossi to the east here. Multiple of them have died in their pursuit of going after Team 1's front line. We have T2 stationary artillery here trying to take out this front line. Love that play, trying to just whittle down hit points of incoming units. We have, of course, would like to see these artillery turned around and focused on these Colossi, but this one's almost down. This one has a lot more health. The Team 1 is hurting in that regard. They need their own Colossus, or at least some sort of experimental to hold off this one. That one does die to the south. This one is in the green, so as long as they can get that online, they'll be fine for now. Does look like a lot of mass is being shared by players here in both teams. Wonder if they're building some secret projects. And it does look like the base here for Team 2's player of Grumpy has been taken out. Man, Team 2 is just being riddled with bullets here, or these shells, plasma, whatever you want to call it. Here on this eastern side, one base, has been decently demolished. Another base decently demolished. This base is gone here for Grumpy. The air grid is being rebuilt, but is gone. This base got nuked, so really just got to hurt here for Team 2. They're doing so good on the northern section of things. We have a red, white, and yellow situation. I feel like that's a flag of a country. I should probably know, but can't think of it off the top of my head. We have another Colossus coming in here for Team 2, but it's all by its lonesome. And Team 1 has their own, of course, and a crab as well. So really, not really worth pushing in that regard. Of course, the reclaim efforts are going on here for Team 2. But the mass per second has now dropped. Team 1 is in the lead. Well, no, never mind. It's fine. Team 2 still in the lead. But it keeps, I think that's maybe reclaim related. Since it's such a huge inflection of, I think I saw 2.9 at one point, 3,000. So I think that's reclaim related. But maybe it's about 2.3, 2.4 is the actual number. And most likely Team 1, that is their actual number. Yeah, Team 2 is skyrocketing in reclaim in that regard. But in the northern section, we have crabs trying to defend against chickens and Colossus and crabs. And not really going well. It's a very good seafood platter down there with some chicken for some nice protein. But I don't see anything of much. I would like to see a Fat Boy in this mix for some long-range artillery fire. But I think with the death of that one early on, Themos decided not to go for that. We have one Megalith online here for Grumpy. Isn't being macro, just kind of hanging out up here, and some of his whalers, but they're not doing much so far. Maybe they're going to try to push on this, last bastion of the north here for Team 1. A second a second Duke is coming online with a Megalith in tow. And here come the whalers to deal with the bricks. Team 1 trying to build some of those monkeys. We have a Dragonfly with a radar jammer, the counterintelligence unit, and those ASFs will come in to intercept. Those whalers are going to be dealt with for the most part, but Team 2's air that is still online is still posing a threat here for Team 1. Artillery now raining in on this position here. The player Touch My Omen, his base is going up in smokes, trying to rebuild the best he can, trying to build some quantum gateways to scale his eco quite nicely, but is just being riddled just constantly with artillery. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 artillery. We have 2 down here, third one almost online. We have 2 to the west here, so that's 4 completed at least. And we have a nuke launcher in the middle. We have 1 emissary coming online, so 3 of them in construction. We have 5 online with 4 under construction, so essentially we have possibly 9 artillery going to be online here probably in the next 5 minutes, and still no one has died. 43 minutes in, no one has vacated, no one has died, no one has lost connection, nothing like that. Everyone is still in the game at 43 minutes, and I want to just congratulate everybody for not dying. It is an accomplishment at 45 minutes to not die. Have at least one person die. So, good on everyone in this game for sticking to it, not having any internet problems or anything of the sort. I see these giant discs, these donuts being built here by multiple players on Team 2. They do have air advantage, which would be a nice thing for, well, they kind of have air advantage. I think it's now a little bit even or favoring Team 1. But, they had it at one point. We do see the tenacity of Team 2 still holding on at 43, 44 minutes. Trying to do what they can. This look like the mass fab. Oh, gets that group and prevents the construction of more. New engineers have to be ordered to do that. Man, that's a large volatile section of mass that can just go up in smoke. How's the eco still going? Team 2 at 2.5, so they're still keeping their lead, but a lot of the reclaim has been scooped up. One Tsar is just going to push through. There's not a lot of AA, and so it's going to get pretty far in. Maybe it's going to go for the SMD. That would be my guess. We have some SAM sites online or direct fire AA, but it's going straight for, I don't know what it's going for actually. Going for this position that looks like maybe an artillery will be built. Going to kill off the Tsar that's being constructed. Nope. No, it's still going. Where is it? Oh, it's going for the artillery in the rear. There's not a lot of AA in the mix. Team 1 needs to come over here and deal with this, but they have nothing. And this Tsar goes, ooh, that's a nice tasty treat. I'm going to laser. We'll take out at least one artillery, take out probably 2 of them as well. There he goes. The shield comes back online. Look at that thing. The thing is almost in the shields, just barely above it. They're trying to flicker back on and off to protect the artillery investment. But there they go. They're offline. Doesn't... Oh. There it goes. Okay, I was like, is he going to kill it off? But he went for the pigeons instead. Good play here by Team 2's player of Kapmanov, dealing with a nice vulnerability that Team 1 had. And there goes that air grid up in smoke. And we have a comm running away. Pepe's is being, he's under threat, being like, I got to get out of there. Explosions going down south here. Is that another nuke? I think that's another nuke. Not a comm death because no one's died. Yeah, I think that was a nuke. But that Tsar is still online, mind you. UFO. It's been named UFO. Love to see that. We do call them UFOs in this game. And now it's going for this artillery position. Team 1 needs some AA online. Here they come. Shooting as many shots as they can. It's dropped it into the yellow, in the red now. And it's going to land. How much damage is it going to do? Doesn't kill off realistically anything. But man, that UFO definitely worth its weight in mass. It's just, guys, can you get this thing off us? You can see the artillery, of course, just through the tops of that UFO. Man, that was close there for the set of artillery. It has reduced the amount of incoming fire, but Team 1 still has the artillery supremacy here. And now they're targeting the air grid once again. Maybe we'll get some YOLOs or something online to deal with those artillery. There's more pigeons, more pigeons. There is a Maver, the appearance of a second Maver. Not a second Maver, but a second Maver in a couple of videos. And a nuke launcher here. Love to see that. All they need is a artillery installation and a satellite. Well, a Duke and artillery satellite. And they have everything that Team UEF usually does. But Expo, the cojones on this guy. Look at this. Going after experimentals with a cloaked commander. Says, nah, I'm my own experimental. There it goes. This is another good screenshot. I don't even know what to pick here. You can't see me. You can't see me. You can't see me. No. You can't see me. And that chicken will die straight up just to Expo. He's killed 38,000 mass with that commander. Great use of the cloaking and laser here for the Cybran commander of Expo. And still, 47 minutes in, no one has died. Maybe we'll just see an entire evacuation of a team. This position's getting pummeled. Do we have any sort of recourse here for Team 2 to come back in this game with artillery? Don't see anything in that position. Looks like maybe Touch My Omen's doing something sneaky up here, protecting his comm. Maybe he's focused on other things. Don't know what's going on in that regard. His base is very unshielded, undefended. We have another Tsar online for Team 2's player of Kapmanov, but the same trick cannot be pulled twice. A miracle only happens once in a while, at least in FAF. And so, with the tri-artillery position here for Team 1, it's looking like that donut is not going anywhere anytime soon. Does take out experimental on the ground, though. And they are retreating underneath AA coverage, and that Tsar will go, it's probably not worth going after, so I'm just going to leave. I'm just going to head out. Let's check on the north here. Zelby still working on that second Duke, but has produced, of course, a lot of crabs, and they're being used for their range capabilities. Lots of engineers for Team 2. They want the mass, and, of course, Team 1 wants the mass, and so it's a fight over mass. And it's just like, yeah, gotta get that mass while it's hot before it decays and becomes fossil fuels. Of course, this air grid is defeated once again. Fong is just eating every shot. It just sucks for him. Oh, that artillery. Oh, it's gonna miss. Okay, I was like, that was gonna actually directly eat one. But shields coming on and offline, online. Here, nice artillery. Shields take the blow. He's trying to do kind of a circular, like circle the wagons, where he's doing shields on the outer edge and then kind of coming inward in a spiral. But that air grid is being demolished as we speak. And I think I saw one. Is there another? Oh, the emissary should be online, right? Yep. Emissary is online here for Team 1. So they still have 5, maybe 6. Nope, almost 6. And has Team 1's player of Wuka built anything? Nope. He's just going to do air grids, separate air grids. Not going to go back into the artillery game. For now, we have that Zara trying to push in, but more and more SAM sites are being built. AA defenses are being built. We have another nuke, this time by Team 2. Where is this one going? It is going straight for those artillery. Yep, going right there. And is there an SMD? It is still online. It was not destroyed. 2 Zars landed on top, essentially of one another. Doesn't kill the patron. The T3 strategic missile defense dead, says Themo. No, they are not. And even if they were, well, there isn't even an SMD back here, so that's an oversight here for Team 1's player of Alchemical. But there goes that nuke over the middle of that base, fires off, boom, intercepts, and is taken out. Something in Russian says probably that's no, says Kabanov, most likely, or not dead, or something similar to that. RAS comms being constantly gated in here by Team 2's player Kabanov. I mean, they have a decent amount of eco at 2.7k per second. It just can't catch a break with much anything else. The only thing they really have going for them is this somewhat secret play here. But Chemical was defeated by Grumpy. Grumpy teleported in with his Cybran Commander. Great play. Takes out 2 artillery pieces. We'll take out the 3rd here. That comm is probably not going to get out of there. It's 68 hit points a second. Only 2 whalers, though. It's going to be close. We should see some, fighter response or something here from Team 1. But Grumpy does end up being killed off in that regard. I think it was due to the volatile explosion of those P-gens. And it is now a 5v5. At 50 minutes, we have 2 comm deaths. Death. I can't talk right now. At 50 minutes, it's a 5v5. Wuka has defeated comm of Grumpy. Grumpy has defeated the comm of Alchemical and has taken out 3 of the artillery. Really huge grab here by Team 2. That is how you use a Cybran Commander. If you're going to die, you might as well die trying to fight something. We have artillery coming in. Ooh, takes out some RAS comms. That's going to hurt. More shields are going to be need to be built to protect that position here for Themo to the north. And it's just a lot of engineers, not a lot of offensive capabilities. And there's, more crabs, more everything being online here for Team 1. We do have another Colossi to the north. Actually, Colossus. Colossi is plural. We have a downed Tsar here, but we do have an emissary constantly firing at that position against Team 2's player of Themo. Does, allow Team 2 down south to breathe a little bit sigh of relief. Be able to, relax a little bit, not worry about everything going on. They're building their own emissary as they speak. Not under shield coverage. He's built 1, but Fong decides to control K, thinking the game for him is not really going his way, or, he's tired, or whatever the case may be. Oh, now it's dead, says Kavanaugh. The SMD is now dead with the landing of a third Tsar. Lots of ASF now in the hands of player of Kavanaugh, the highest rated player on Team 2 side of things. We have a lot of strat bombers being built here by Themo, and he's having some power issues, it looks like. He needs to build more P-gens, needs those shields online. He's lost his Stone Ager, his nuke. He doesn't want to lose that that Maver that's being built. Does Team 1 know about it? Oh, no, they know about it. No, they know about it. So it's not like Team 1 isn't aware of it. They're just not focusing on it. But Zara coming in to target those emissaries. The second one was almost done. And how much AA is in the area? Well, that answers that question. A lot of it. Shields still online for now. Shields are starting to fall. The Zara's going to fall. We'll take out one of those emissaries. We'll take out the second one as well. That has got to hurt. Team 1 has had a lot of artillery. They've lost 2, essentially 3, and 9. Oh, 8. They've lost 8 artillery so far. Don't reclaim, please. I make YOLO. That's what Pepe's is deciding to do. Team 1 player of Wuka has decided to build a Scathis at a faster rate than Team 2's player of Themos building his Maver. He's also, of course, having power issues. I think he's sorted that mostly out. And now it is a 5v4 in favor of Team 1. We have one solitary little artillery being fired off. One's not really going to do a whole lot, but if, you know, they're not shielded, then they're not shielded. Targeting Kabanoff directly. Doesn't want to deal with any of his nonsense anymore. A squad of Colossi, are gearing up for attacks. More AA is needed by Team 1, but they're targeting the nuke launcher. This thing does have a nuke in the clip. Will the donut be able to kill it off? It's going for Game Ender, I think, directly, but there is a shield on board, and he's fine. But Babel decides to control K as well, thinking the game is over for him, handing everything off to Team 2's player of Themo. We have artilleries landing all the time here to the west, or from the west here. 2 Dukes and a satellite being constructed here by Zelby. Nuke launching over the middle here, going after this position. There is one SMD. It is loaded. That nuke will not land. How is that artillery looking? Well, it's not looking very well. Is there a Maver online? That's what it feels like. Or maybe those are just the Duke firing. Don't see any sort of thing. I only see the 2 shots going over the top. It looked like it was a Duke, but Maver, because it was a Duke, I think it was very similar. But that squadron of bombers is headed to one place. I don't know where they're going. Oh, I clicked the wrong person. There we go. Where are they going? Do they have any kill orders as of yet? No. But if I'm going to launch this many strats, I would probably want some some air protection from some ASFs. And realistically, I don't know what Team 1 needs to go after at this point. There is an emissary here for Pepe's. He talked about building a YOLO, but I don't see it. I think he decided against it and just decided to help his teammate build the Scathis, and I think that's kind of where he's going for. He's like, oh, I'll just build that. That works. Since it's already halfway down, essentially. That Maver is still online. It isn't being assisted, though, of being constructed, so that's not really a good look here for Team 2. I don't know if the beginning of the end has set in. I don't know if a subcom brain has set in. I don't know. Strat bombers have moved to the south. Do they know of the Scathis' existence? It's now a 5 to 3, by the way.
Air staging full.
What? I heard something about something is full. It wasn't transport. I don't think it was. There goes that Tsar to the north. It does get taken out. Strat bombers. Where did the strat? Oh, there's 7 back here. ASFs are up here to the north. There's no protection for them. They're charging in, probably going after... No, they're not moving in as of yet. They're just moving to this position. Don't know what Team 2's player of Themo's thinking. Oh, no, they're just going to sit here for now. Team 1 will notice that. Oh, yep, there they go. We have ASFs already on a collision course with those things, but there's a lot of AA already built up from earlier. They're going to target the emissaries, but I don't think they're going to get a lot of work done. 1 bomb gets released. 1 is not enough. The second one is coming online. We've had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like 13, 14 artillery being launched. That is a lot. That is a lot of artillery. And Team 2 builds their first one. Second one, actually, as well. They have 2 emissaries so far. Pinks go down to go, hey, look, there's a thing we should go after. Pinks go down to target Kamenov as well. This looks like they're targeting Touch My Omen's little hidey hole. But the Tsar is reigning over Grumpy's old position. They're building a disruptor, but I don't think that's going to finish anytime soon. How's that Maver doing in the east? Well, it's gone. That's how it's doing. And the Dukes took that out. Definitely unfortunate here for Team 2. They're trying to push with some Colossi and taking out a crap, but there's 3 more down here. Not really going to go well in that regard. Lots and lots of, bullet sponges / cannon fodder in the north for Team 1. And now those Dukes are landing over here trying to take out these emissaries. There's the 3rd one online for Team 2, so, there's something going for them. But I don't think they're going to be able to repel the firepower of that magnitude. especially when the Scathis comes and launches its barrages at them. Takes out some of those quantum gateways. Duke's landing in all the time. Shield still holding strong, but I feel like those emissaries really only have one target. And they're targeting the Tsar, or not the Tsar, the other emissaries, which isn't a bad choice, but you have that to take out. So why are we taking out? But they've taken out a decent section of that protection, and those emissaries really don't have any shields left online. And there goes the another one inbound, takes out those two emissaries. That's a great grab by Team 2, but I don't know if that's gonna be short-lived or not, because those emissaries are down here for Touch My Omen. Artillery raining in, lands pretty close to Touch My Omen. The pigeons are down. Rascom's blowing up by the tens. GG goes out to Team 1 by Themo. We might see a evacuation order or some sort of thing. Touch My Omen, control Ks. Themo control Ks, and then it's now Kavanaugh versus the world. Everything else is being sent in for a last-ditch hurrah. Not going to get very far in. We have crabs chasing them. Transfer control is given. They stop in their tracks. Kavanaugh builds another experimental, probably just transfer control related. And he is over here to the east, trying to hold strong. Has a lot of shields, so, you know, it's better than nothing. Shots going off the edge. But I don't think Team 2 really has anything left in the tank, unfortunately. Have a nuke. Not loaded, but they have it. And it's now 59 minutes in this game. The game will end here pretty soon. There goes those Colossi. They are down. And, of course, we can see where this game is going. It is now, of course, a 5v1. Artillery raining in all the time here against Kavanaugh. I think we're just going to sit and watch Kavanaugh be shot by artillery constantly. He's losing those quantum gateways. He's losing his shield emitters. Shells impacting all around him. I'm waiting for the Scathis fire to just nail him. But of course the Rascom's trying to build some more shields as best they can. It's just a game of survival at this point. How long can they survive? We're approaching the 1 hour mark here. We can see some artillery has been fired by that Scathis. And a nuke has been fired as well. And there goes the control K order by Kavanaugh, and the game does win, or does win out by Team 1. They didn't have a flawless victory. Somebody did die in that exchange. It was due to the teleportation by Grumpy against Alchemical. And in terms of underrated player of the game, I mean, we had players from 1,000 to 1,800 in this game, so there are some possibilities for underrated players. But in terms of who do I think deserves it the most, Themo did a decent job in the east, northeast, really pushing against Team 2 with some of his compatriots. We had, of course, Touch My Omen and Kavanaugh being solid in the south. We had Grumpy with that nice teleport play. He did get, killed off, but he did take out 3 artillery, so, it was a great move by him, slowing that damage roll, at least if not a little bit. Alchemical did a nice job getting those artillery up and running, and Wuka did a nice job recovering after the loss of those artillery. And so for Team 1, for MUP, I feel like, let's see, they'll be 1,600. Yeah, I played like a 1,600. That would make sense. Same thing here with Expo. He's an 1,800. I feel like, let's see, who's the 1,200? Game Ender. Game Ender did a pretty nice, solid job staying in the middle, built some ASF forces, built artillery. He was just a very, all-around solid player. Built a nuke. There was, he just launched that nuke before the last play on Team 2 vacated the scene. Pepe's did a great job holding off that front line, and then after that was able to recover after the death of Alchemical. So I feel like Pepe's at a 1,200 deserves the underrated player of the game award for this game. Let me know down in the comments if you agree or not. Please like and comment down below what your favorite moment was, what your thoughts were, comments, likes, whatever you want to ask how my day was, ask how talk about how your day was, talk about how cold it is in some places of the world. Just let me know down in the comments how y'all feel. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And again, thank you so much for watching to the end of the video, and I will see all of you wonderful people in the next one.